Renegades unite, please. Gather around the campfire. This song that we're about to interact with right now, called Children of the Moon, was brought to us via the algorithm. And I'm not kidding. I was just listening to Ren and Skinner Brothers because they put out a bunch of bangers for no reason. I was listening to that, and then in the recommendations was Children of the Moon, which I'd never interacted with before. So go with me on this journey as we figure out what this is all about. Of course, if you're seeing this on YouTube, it's likely been on the Patreon for a number of days, so join me in the Patreon for everything that's currently vaulted. Also, if you'd like to recommend new music for the channel, the link to the PayPal will be in the description below. I can't cover everything, or else, the channel would become, something like a jukebox. But 80% of what I cover on the channel is from patrons in the PayPal, so I deeply appreciate. And guys, let's let him cook. Let's see what he has to say. My sadness becomes me. What was that? Guys, do you see how quickly her overwhelming sadness converted to fear? That's a nugget. Sadness and fear are two sides of the same coin. When you feel sad, you feel isolated, you feel vulnerable. And when you feel vulnerable, your threat detection circuitry kicks on. And then you become hyper aware of threats around you. You invite fear, right? So sadness converts to fear often, especially if that sadness is chronic. And she said, my sadness becomes me, right? Just a nugget. Continue to cook, please.
Children that worship the moon. We live in the shadows and we never see the sun. Creatures of the city, and I'm sure you'll see us soon. We dance to the beat of a very different drum.
So the Children of the Moon is obvious. When the moonlight, it lights up the night, then you have just enough light to do your dirty work, but not so much light that you're going to be exposed for what it is that you're doing, which is, your shady business, right? I get that. But when Ren says, I'm sure you'll see us soon, there's enough people in the world who aren't playing by society's rules. We forget sometimes that the rules we establish are merely games, that certain people don't play well, aren't allowed to play because of their personality, or just don't want to play those games. And your interaction with them is going to be a very brutal one if you're not, prepared for that, if you're not, open to the reality that the children of the moon exist, let's say. My wife's car was actually rummaged through this morning. And it wasn't so bad. It wasn't crazy. I mean, like, the door was open. She had left the door open. And so they took Altoids and her coat. They took mints and they took her. It was like, what are we going to tell the police? It's like, if they don't stop these guys, everyone's breath will stink on the entire block. They'll take all the mints, right? But that's one of the things that kind of stick in your head. It's like, why didn't they take any of the change? Why didn't they take the stereo or my daughter's bike, which was in the back? Very, very odd. Not playing by the same kind of rules. Just wanted the candy. And the coat, because it's cold. Children of the Moon.
I said, oh, can I get that rhythm that sends shivers down your spine? In the sewers of the city, we will wait until the night. When the night's black ink holds the moon in the sky, we will take to these streets where we beast move with pride. It's a Children of the Moon intervention, with a hairs that stand on end when you feel tension. A different breed with a scabs, with a scum, with a grit, with a grind. And we dance to a very different...
Look. It's a perfect place to pause it, with the ultimate Ren face. I think this is going to be on the thumbnail if I can manage it. Look, why is it that the Children of the Moon, when they have a kind of a representative, like, Yeah, it's always the tactic to really exaggerate who the children of the moon are. The children of the moon just want to survive, right? It's not that they very often have this inkling to want to kill you. It's like, oh, I just want to go in a stranger's house and murder them. Yeah, you do get psychopaths. I'm not going to pretend they don't exist. But the people who are marching to a different drum, they just want to live their lives as they see fit, right? They don't necessarily want to come into contact with anyone, who they want to harm for no reason. It's just like, look, I just want the drugs out of your pantry so that I continue my life with my, as an addict. So I'm going to run in your house. Hopefully you're asleep or either gone. I'm going to take what I need and I'm going to dip. But this is kind of a I am whatever you say I am kind of narrative, where it's like those of us who think of the children of the moon and kind of recoil, this is going to kind of, freak those people out even more, let's say.
With a scrum, with a grit, with a grind, and we dance to a very different... A time that was not long ago, there lived a little boy infected by the evils of this world. In his heart, the madness was growing until he leaked anger into his veins. And when he grew, he didn't grow up, he just grew more and more insane.
So do you hear Ren's voice there? I know. I said it before, and a lot of you jumped on my back and tried to kill me. But here I am alive. What I said was that Ren should play Jack the Pumpkin King on a remake of Nightmare Before Christmas. And what he just did with his voice proves my point. Yes, I know that Ren is very unlikely to ever collaborate with Disney, but a man can dream. Let's hear that again. Prove my point again, Ren. Let's do that.
Once upon a time that was not long ago, there lived a little boy infected by the evils of this world. In his heart, the madness was growing until he leaked anger into his veins. And when he grew, he didn't grow up, he just grew more and more insane. He felt pain in his brain, flames, blisters, bloodstains, bipolar hurricanes, trying to remain sane. No, but it's in vain, burning up in flames. Oh, what fun, dance to the drum, drum, drum. Children that worship the moon. We live in the shadows, so we never see the sun. Creatures of this city, and I'm sure you'll see us soon. We dance to the beat of a very different drum. We weave through the city like a poisonous thread. We're not quite living, but we're not quite dead. We all sing along to a very different tune.
We're not quite living, but we're not quite dead. That's the line, right? That's the line that encompasses the child of the moon, or the worshiper of the moon, the one who's kind of scavenges in the night and takes advantage of opportunities. Takes advantage of takes advantage of you when your back is turned. Because I do agree that they're more likely to use a human being as a means to some alternate end, other than as an end in themselves. Clearly, right?
But we're not quite dead.
Not quite living and not quite dead. Not quite living because they're unaccepted by society, looked down upon by everyone in polite society. They don't have, access to opportunities, are very unlikely to have long-term relationships with anyone who they can trust, right? So not quite living. And not quite dead either. As a matter of fact, very much alive, specifically when the moon comes out. Good line.
We all sing along to a very different tune. We are the children that worship the moon. We are the children that worship the moon. We live in the shadows.
Guys, listen, if I die and the person who is, doing whatever to my body, with those organs, and they, take out, my liver, let's say, and slap it on their cheek and start mushing it in like that, I'm gonna wake up and slap them.
We never see the sun, creatures of the city, and I'm sure you'll see us soon. We dance to the beat of a very different drum.
Ren has he's always got to make it a production. You know what I'm saying? It's like, boom, at the end. Fantastic. I had a lot of fun.